Hey guys, what's going on? So somebody somewhere in Freewell predominantly, I would think, thought this was a good idea. They also thought this was a good idea. And I'm here to tell you, I'm not sure what kind of idea these things are. These are called streak filters, and these are for the DJI Mini 3 Pro. What's a streak filter? Really, in a nutshell, these are trying to emulate an anamorphic flare. So you know that Hollywood flare, J.J. Abrams used to love to use it, blue flares everywhere. They look really cool, but more importantly, from an audience perspective who are trained in the eye of Hollywood, it's like instant cinematic. Oh, there's flares, boom, it's cinematic. Yes, this is amazing. And now you can get it on the DJI Mini 3 Pro because these things have streaks in it. You might be able to see it up here. See? That's why there are a couple of lines and you can rotate them horizontally or vertically depending on whether it's horizontal or vertical video. So you're saying, Vic, this is amazing. What does it all look like? Boom! Here is it at daytime. And there's a major problem with using these at daytime, but I'll get that in a sec. So this is a flare in the sun because obviously these things flare with bright lights. So the sun is probably the brightest thing that you can get during the day. Also like a flashlight in your phone or whatever else you can find. So you get this flare. Now if we look at the rotation here, these things don't really act like proper anamorphic flares. If you want to see what a proper anamorphic flare looks like, stick around because I have an example of what they should look like. Now, you're going, okay, it's not too bad. It's kind of got that flary thing going on. It's okay. Now, here is one major problem with these during the day. So these are trying to emulate essentially a cinemorphic. What's wrong with me? The heat, it's so hot inside here. We don't do aircon in Ireland. These are emulating a cinematic anamorphic flare. As I said, anamorphic flares, boom, cinema. You cannot use these as an ND filter because there is no ND in it. There's no neutral density, so you can't darken or you can't slow down the shutter on these. So you're at the mercy predominantly of the auto shutter in the DJI Mini 3 Pro, which is fine, but you don't get that cinematic motion blur. You can't drop this down to 1/50, and that's a problem. It's a bit ironic that you're trying to emulate this cinematic anamorphic flare, but you can't get that cinematic motion blur. Anyway, so that's during the day. It works, I think, well-ish. But when it goes at nighttime, which is when anamorphic stuff really can come alive because you've got lights everywhere, and it comes at nighttime, look at this. It's like, my eyes! These things are everywhere. And the problem I really have with these is that they don't really act like an anamorphic flare, which kind of blooms and expands. These are just, they look fake. It's just like, boom, they're on and pop, 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 they're there, and that's it. And at night in particular, this is really prevalent, and on the footage that I shot at night, DJI Mini 3 Pro is amazing at night. I mean, look at this. But these streaks, there's blue and there's gold. These are the blue flares that you're seeing on the nighttime footage. Complete distraction to the audience. And to be brutally honest, I don't think I would ever use it at night. Daytime, maybe, because you can get some cinematic looking stuff during the day. You know, where the light's coming through the trees and stuff. It's just a nice feeling. But at night, to switch back to that footage, it is just... But even using something like an anamorphic adapter for the iPhone 13 Pro, look at the flares here. They behave differently. They look kind of organic and they look real. These do not look real at all, I'm sorry to say. Now, for full disclosure, by the way, Freewell sent me these. And they didn't say anything. They didn't say you gotta say it's good. They didn't say you gotta say it's bad. They sent me these for free. They didn't give me any money or anything of the sort. What would it be like if I took a photograph? You know, because sometimes when things are moving, it's like, a photograph was worse. I mean, looking at the photograph, I'm like, I would not publish that to Vero. By the way, Vic Barry on Vero. We're all gone to Vero. All the cool kids are gone to Vero. I was there since 2018, but someone else had to make it cool again. Thanks, Pete. You guys got to really kind of draw your own notions on what you're shooting here. Daytime, maybe. Nighttime, for me, it's a hard no. And I was really excited about these because the idea of them is really, really good. I do not know if somebody like Freewell will ever get an anamorphic lens, a proper anamorphic lens for something like the DJI Mini 3 Pro, you know, the way they have it on the bigger Mavics. Says Vic, really struggling with the autofocus on the Sony FX3. Work autofocus! There you go, baby. You have to admire a company for having a go at something like this. I mean, that's the silver lining here, that there's a company like Freewell willing to invest time, engineering efforts, money, production, all of that into something like this, and they gave it a go. And some of you might have a use for it, but I don't think many people will be too happy with the results. But hey, look, here's the thing. All of this is subjective. You're looking at this video going, what the is Vic on about? I love those flares. They look amazing. So if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. You've got some footage, nighttime and daytime, to draw your own conclusions from. The end.